Muhammad Ali. The name itself rings like a bell, doesn't it? Everyone knows him as the greatest. He was a whirlwind in the boxing ring, dancing like a butterfly and stinging like a bee. His voice boomed, filled with confidence and sometimes a little bit of playful boasting. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a showman, a poet, a man who stood up for what he believed in. But there was another side to Ali, a quieter side. It wasn't always in the headlines or on television. It was in the small, kind things he did when nobody was watching, moments of grace that showed the true heart of a champion. We all know the loud, proud Ali. But today, let's tell a story about the gentle giant, the Ali who listened, who saw, and who acted with a quiet strength that spoke volumes. This is a story about one of those moments. The exhibition was a big deal. Held in a large arena, it was all for charity, helping kids who needed it most. Everyone in town was buzzing about it. There were games, food stalls with yummy treats, and music playing. But the biggest draw, the one everyone was waiting for, was Muhammad Ali. He was going to do a special demonstration, showing off some of his famous moves. It wasn't a real fight, of course, but a chance for people to see the greatest up close and support a good cause. The atmosphere was electric, filled with excitement and happy chatter. Banners with Ali's picture hung everywhere, and kids wore t-shirts with his name on them. You could feel the anticipation in the air, a feeling that something special was about to happen. Among the crowd was a young mother named Sarah. She held her newborn baby, Michael, close to her chest. Michael was only a few weeks old, tiny and precious. Sarah had been so excited to come to the exhibition. She wanted to support the charity, and, like everyone else, she really wanted to see Ali. She'd carefully planned her day, making sure Michael was fed and comfortable. She even dressed him in a little outfit with tiny boxing gloves printed on it, hoping to get a picture with Ali. This was her first outing since Michael was born, and she felt a little nervous but mostly thrilled to be part of something special. She imagined telling Michael about this day when he was older, how he saw the great Muhammad Ali before he could even walk. But as Sarah approached the entrance, her excitement turned to disappointment. The security guard stopped her, his face apologetic. "I'm so sorry, ma'am," he said, "but we can't allow infants inside. It's a safety concern, with the crowds and all." Sarah's heart sank. She tried to explain how much this meant to her, how she'd been looking forward to it. She even showed him Michael's tiny boxing gloves. But the guard was firm. Rules were rules. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes. She had come all this way, hoping for a special day, and now she was being turned away. She felt a wave of sadness wash over her, mixed with frustration and a little bit of embarrassment. She turned to leave, feeling utterly defeated. Backstage, Ali was warming up, getting ready to give the crowd a show. He was shadowboxing, his movements still quick and graceful, even though he wasn't as young as he used to be. But his ears were always open, and he had a knack for knowing what was going on around him. Someone told him about the young mother and her baby being turned away at the gate. Ali stopped in his tracks. He didn't say a word, but his eyes narrowed, and his jaw tightened. He hated to see anyone disappointed, especially someone who was trying to do something good. He knew what it felt like to be turned away, to be told no. And he wasn't about to let it happen to this young mother. He just couldn't. Without another word, Ali turned and walked towards the gate. He didn't run, he didn't shout. He just walked with a purpose in his step that made everyone around him move aside. His trainers and assistants tried to follow, asking him where he was going, but he just waved them off. He knew exactly where he was going. He had a mission. He needed to make things right. The crowd, seeing Ali walking towards them, began to murmur. They didn't know what was happening, but they sensed that something important was about to unfold. The excitement in the air shifted, becoming something more intense, more focused. All eyes were on Ali as he approached the entrance. Sarah was still standing near the entrance, tears streaming down her face, when she saw Ali approaching. She couldn't believe her eyes. "Muhammad Ali?" she whispered to herself. He walked right up to her, his expression gentle and kind. "I heard what happened," he said softly. "May I?" And before she could answer, he gently reached out and took Michael into his arms. The baby, who had been fussing just moments before, seemed to calm instantly, snuggling into Ali's chest. Ali looked down at the tiny face, a smile spreading across his own. He cradled Michael like he was holding the most precious thing in the world. "Come on," Ali said, his voice a low rumble. "Let's go inside." He turned to the security guard. "They're with me." And with that, he personally escorted Sarah and Michael into the arena. The crowd erupted. They cheered, they clapped, they shouted Ali's name. It was a moment of pure joy and excitement. Sarah, walking beside Ali, couldn't stop smiling. Her tears were gone, replaced by a feeling of overwhelming gratitude. She couldn't believe this was happening. Ali, the great Muhammad Ali, was personally welcoming her and her baby into the exhibition. It was a dream come true, a moment she would never forget. He made sure they had great seats where Michael wouldn't be disturbed. A photographer snapped a picture of Ali holding Michael, Sarah beaming beside him. The photo quickly spread like wildfire. It was in all the newspapers, on television, and everyone was talking about it. It captured a moment of pure humanity, a champion showing his heart. People loved seeing Ali in that light, not just as a boxer, but as a compassionate and caring man. The photo became an instant symbol of kindness and generosity. It showed the world that even the greatest among us can have the biggest hearts. Sarah received so many calls, and the newspaper offered her a copy for free. She couldn't wait to put it in Michael's baby book, but there was more to the story that the photo couldn't show. What the cameras didn't capture, what the newspapers didn't print, was what happened just before the picture was taken. As Ali held Michael, he leaned down and whispered something in the baby's ear. It was a secret, a message just for him. Sarah couldn't hear what he said, but she saw the look in Ali's eyes. It was a look of deep concern, of protectiveness, of love. It was a look that told her more than any words ever could. It was a look that revealed the true heart of a champion, a heart that cared deeply about the world and the people in it, especially the most vulnerable. That moment, unseen by the world, was the most precious part of the story. He whispered, "You're safer here than out there. You've got champions watching over you." Those words, meant only for Michael, spoke volumes about Ali's view of the world. He knew that the world could be a scary place, full of challenges and dangers. But he also believed in the power of community, the strength of those who stood together to protect each other. He wanted Michael to know, even at that young age, that he was surrounded by people who cared about him, people who would fight for him, people who would always have his back. It was a promise, a blessing, and a message of hope. Ali's actions that day weren't just about breaking a rule or getting a photo op. They were about something much bigger. They were about recognizing the inherent worth of every human being, no matter how small or how vulnerable. They were about standing up for what's right, even when it's not easy. He believed that everyone deserved to feel safe and protected, and he used his power and influence to make that happen. It was a small act of kindness, but it had a ripple effect, touching the lives of everyone who saw the photo or heard the story. It reminded people that even in a world filled with noise and conflict, there is always room for compassion and grace. This story shows us that Ali wasn't just a fighter in the ring. He fought for people outside the ring too. He used his fame to shine a light on those who were often overlooked. He spoke up for those who didn't have a voice. He was a champion of the underdog, a protector of the innocent, a beacon of hope in a sometimes dark world. And it all stemmed from his deep-seated belief in fairness, in justice, and in the inherent dignity of every person. This wasn't just a one-off event, it was a reflection of who he was at his core. It was Ali being Ali, the man behind the legend. We often remember Ali for his bold pronouncements and his unmatched confidence. He was a larger-than-life figure, a man who commanded attention wherever he went. But these quiet moments, these acts of grace that often went unnoticed, reveal an even deeper dimension of his character. It's easy to be loud and proud, to shout your opinions from the rooftops. It takes a different kind of strength to be gentle, to be compassionate, to listen to the whispers of your heart and act on them. Ali possessed both kinds of strength. He knew when to roar and when to be silent, when to stand tall and when to kneel down and offer a helping hand. This story, and countless others like it, add depth and richness to Ali's legacy. It reminds us that he was more than just a boxer. He was a humanitarian, a champion of the people, a symbol of hope. It shows that true greatness isn't just about winning fights or achieving fame. It's about using your platform to make the world a better place, to lift others up, and to spread kindness wherever you go. Ali's legacy isn't just about his boxing record, it's about the lives he touched, the people he inspired, and the values he stood for. It's about the quiet moments of grace that defined the man behind the legend. He will continue to inspire future generations. So, remember Muhammad Ali. Remember the boxer, the poet, the activist. But also remember the man who whispered words of comfort to a baby he had just met. Remember the man who saw wrong and made it right. Because in the end, it's not always the loudest voices that define us. It's the quiet moments, the small acts of kindness, the gestures of compassion that truly reveal who we are. And in the case of Muhammad Ali, those quiet moments spoke volumes, shaping his legacy and inspiring us all to be a little bit kinder, a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more like the greatest. Even champions have quiet moments that define them.